Hey, what's going on? We're back with another week of the Financial Mirror. I want to start off by saying happy Easter Sunday. It's another great week, and what this is great. April's great, and especially here at the Financial Mirror because April sort of kicks off Financial Literacy Month, and that's a big thing for me, especially trying to build that literacy foundation among anyone that is in tune with my stream, in tune with my podcast, however you enjoy the Financial Mirror. My whole goal is to build this idea behind, if I can get you more to where you want to be financially, I have done exactly what I've set out to achieve by doing this every week. So April kicks off the Financial Literacy Month, which is actually a nationally recognized campaign to bring awareness to the need for more financial education, not only in schools but in adults, right? Because I would love to see schools teach financial education. I would love to show people how much finances has to be taught. If you just solely rely on people learning it. They can obviously they can pick up great things, but most people don't care enough about it to go out and try to learn it on their own. So they just inherit whatever was sort of taught to them. So if we can teach that to young adults, we can teach that to adults. If we can just teach that early on, especially, I do think that more people will grow up in much more prosperous financial situations. So. All right, here's the Financial Mirror. I like to spend every week creating content that can help you get to where you want to be financially. However, this month I'm going to focus strictly on each week building on top of the previous week as we go through this month, to sort of lay out this path, right? This path that you can follow is going to equip you with all the information that you kind of need to create and take charge of your finances right away, right now, and get you to where you want to be, okay? So I'm going to start off by saying that nothing that we talk about, nothing that we do, nothing that we say during this stream this month is going to be easy, right? It's going to take some time. It's going to take time not only from a time physical perspective, but it's going to take time to reach your where you want to be in the end. It's going to take time out of your day to accomplish these things, right? So today's episode is all about financial goal setting. So it's going to take time. It's going to take tons of time, and I'm going to start off by saying that because in the end, all of this time that you spend doing this, you'll be thanking me. If it's the stream that helped put you over the edge to get you there, you'll thank me. If it's this stream and everybody else around you that's been pushing you to do X, Y, and Z to get to better your financial situation, you'll be thanking them. It's not about thanking me. It's about getting you to where you want to be. I promise you, that is my whole hearted reason for why I do this every week. So that same feeling of accomplishment that you get when you complete something like, that you didn't think you could do, that learning to ride a bike, that do-it-yourself house project that you were like, I should pay somebody to do this. I don't know how to do that. And then all of a sudden you get up the courage, you do it, and you just feel accomplished, right? Like you just feel accomplished. That's the type of thing that same accomplished feeling is the same feeling that you get whenever you say, I'm going to pay off my debt, and then you do it. Because you don't feel like right where you're at right now, I don't make enough money, I have too much debt. All of these things that are keeping you, they're literally keeping you. You're keeping yourself actually from getting to where you want to be. So that feeling of accomplishment has to drive you, and if that doesn't bring enough, you've got to find what drives you. But what I want is for you to stop thinking that your financial situation's too hard to get control of, and realize that most people are either going through the same thing that you're going through, or they've come out of the other end of the tunnel of what you're going through, right? So it's important to sort of see that. So you don't realize or you don't realize you don't really think that you're going at this alone, because you're not. And I'm here with you every week. I love success stories. I love hearing things that people are accomplishing. So you can always go to thefinancialmirror.org/contact and feel free, fill that out and let me know some of the accomplishments that you've had in your financial journey. Love seeing that. So to get started, this episode, like I said, is all about financial goal setting. This episode is strictly about helping set those financial goals and ensure that those goals have a meaning in your life, because when you set these financial goals, so first off, when you set the financial goals, you are planning out exactly what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Okay. When you have these financial goals, in my opinion, and this is just from using my own life lessons, is that when you write these things down, you get these financial goals, it gives you a little more purpose for why you do your budget, right? It gives you a little more purpose for why you spend so much time tracking your expenses. It gives you a little more purpose for why you're picking up a side job. It gives you a little more purpose for all the things you do, right? Like it gives you the reason why you're doing it. You have a goal and you want to accomplish it. So from my perspective, from me, not only having gone through, and still going through, right? It's not about where you're at in your journey. Everybody's at different spots in their journey, and you can't look at your journey as being any more tough or any easier than the next person's journey. You have your own obstacles, you have your own issues. So with that, you have to understand that you have to plan out your goals, right? And then put the plan that goes with that goal for how you're going to accomplish it. Okay. So to sort of illustrate the importance, the true importance of financial goal planning, I want to give you a quick little analogy, right? So when you don't have a financial goal, you may stop at Starbucks every morning and buy a cup of coffee, right? Because for some reason there's this amazing ingredient that Starbucks provides that makes their coffee so much better than anybody else's coffee. Totally kidding. I don't know what the attraction is, but maybe it's just that latte, that creamy latte, or maybe it's the sweetener that they use. Maybe it's some. I like Starbucks coffee. Let's be honest. I'm honest with everybody. I don't mind stopping to get Starbucks coffee. I had Starbucks this morning. But when you go and buy a Starbucks cup of coffee every morning on your way to work, I want you to think about, let's just say you spend $100 a month in Starbucks coffee. If you put that $100 into an investment, right? Every month for 5 years, it'd almost be $7,000. Okay. So what I'm saying is that when you don't have financial goals, stopping at Starbucks is easy, because where else is your money going to go, right? You don't have another goal. Like your money, you budgeted, right? I'm giving you benefit of the doubt. You budgeted and you're like, I'm going to put $100 into Starbucks. Well, that's fair. You budgeted for $100 and you're going to spend it at Starbucks. Makes 100% sense, right? But then all of a sudden, when I throw out the term financial goal, your idea has to shift, because you're like, well, if I throw $100 at Starbucks and my financial goal is to pay off debt, that $100 could pay off my debt and I would get there. Well, hopefully you're paying off your debt anyways, but $100 could pay off my debt faster. So now I have a financial goal that my money's going towards, right? And now it's my budget while I'm budgeting, and that I highly encourage your budgeting, right? So I'm very happy that you're budgeting, and I'm very happy that you said I'm setting aside $100 and you're naming $100 to go to Starbucks. That $100, when you don't have a financial goal, is easy to spend at Starbucks versus where else you could be spending it when you have a financial goal. So $7,000, $100 investment into an account every month for 5 years. be almost $7,000. So I just want you to think about it. Every time you sip that cup of coffee, I want you to realize there's $7,000 running through the lid right into your mouth. Okay, that's kind of weird to think about, honestly. But anyways, so it changes your view, though. It changes your view when you have a goal, right? It changes your view of where that money's going. So, so when you think about financial goal setting, you have to realize that writing down your goals is not so much optional. Okay, you can't look at goal setting as writing it down is optional, because you have to. I'm going to show you why writing it down is absolutely 1,000% necessary to achieving your goal. Okay, so think about it. You don't write it down. You have this goal. I have this goal to pay off my debt. You don't write it down. If you don't write it down, when you realize that you're starting to not pay off your debt, because I'm going to show you how you should set your goal. So your goal shouldn't just be, I'm going to pay off my debt. Your goal should be like, I'm going to pay off my debt. And you could be more specific. You say, I'm going to pay off my American Express, and then I'm gonna snowball it and pay off my Capital One, and then I'm gonna snowball it and pay off my student loans, in that order, right? If you don't write that down and it's not specific, and and we have to do them in a time perspective, so I'm gonna pay off the American Express by the end of, right now we're in April, so I'm gonna pay it off by the end of, let's say, May. I'm going to pay off my Capital One by bigger balance. Let's give you until October. And then I'm going to pay off my student loans, huge balance, by the end of April 2023 or something. I'm just throwing numbers out there, right? That's very specific. It's time driven, and it's achievable, right? It's absolutely an achievable goal because you've written it down. When you look at it, you can see, wow, I'm off track. Now, why do people not write down goals? Well, in most people's eyes, when they write something down, it kind of becomes real, right? So by writing something down and then you don't achieve it, it literally slaps you in the face. Like, hey, yo, dude, hey, yo, dudette, you said you were going to pay off your American Express by the end of May. Yo, it's August. Why is this thing not paid off yet? And now you start to feel like a failure, like you failed at paying off something you said you were going to do. Like you said you're going to do this and you didn't. So you feel like a failure. So for most people, instead of feeling like they failed, instead they just don't write it down, because then it never really was real. And when they fail, right? Because they still failed. When they failed, it's not as big of a deal to them. So that's not how you should live. If that's currently how you're doing your goal setting, that's not how you should live. It's okay to fail. You can fail. You can do all these things because you have to be honest with yourself. If you ever want to be where you want to be financially, you have to be honest with yourself. So what I can say is this, is if you will focus on writing down your goals, that's step one in this whole thing. So step one in financial goal setting is pull out a sheet of paper, electronic version, Evernote, Apple iPhone notes, Google S Notes, or Samsung S Notes, whatever note-taking platform, I'm telling you, or just basic pen and paper, stick sticky notes on your mirror. Like, I really don't care. Write your goals down, because they will slap you in the face and say, yo, wake up. You're a month out and you still haven't done what you said you're going to do. So they have to be real. Okay. They have to be real. So step one, write these things down. Now, what are you writing down? So that's the part you're like, okay, I got my pen and paper ready. Like, boom, I'm good. What do I need to put on this sheet of paper? Okay. Well, I got you. So if you've heard of goals, if you've ever talked about goals, if you've ever talked to anyone that discusses goals, if you've ever done anything about goals, you've probably heard of SMART goals. If you haven't, SMART goals are simply this: SMART. It's just each letter means a word. What is that called? Like acronym or something? Anyways, SMART is S is specific, M is measurable. So specific meaning like it's to the T. Like I'm going to pay off my American Express card by the end of May. That's very specific. You're paying off the American Express card by the end of May. There's no way to misinterpret that, right? It's measurable. How do I measure pay off my American Express card by the end of May? Well, pay it off. It has a zero balance. I just measured it. It was measurable at the fact that it has a zero balance at the end of May. Is it achievable? Well, yeah, I can pay it off by the end of May. Achievable becomes evident when you start planning. So when you start creating the plan for the goal, achievable becomes, is this achievable, right? The next R is you'll hear multiple R's, right? Is it relevant? Is it realistic? Is it reasonable? Is it results based? Like all these are different things that you'll hear for R. But what I like to use is this a realistic, reasonable goal? Realistic in a sense that that it's like this is something that truly matters in a sense that, and I think that goes more into the relevant side. But is this realistic in a sense that is this achievable in real life? Can I make this happen? And you have to be true and honest with yourself. Can I actually make this happen? So achievable. While something could be achievable, I'm trying to get my words out, but while something can be achievable when you plan it out, realistic would come in and say, okay, dude, you have a really hard time only getting 2 Starbucks coffees, or you can't go without Starbucks coffee. I'm going to keep using Starbucks as an example. Sorry, Starbucks. I really like you, Starbucks. You're really great customer service. But if you really have a hard time putting down Starbucks completely, you can't say that a goal is realistic if it requires you to put Starbucks down, right? It's not realistic because most likely you're going to set yourself up for failure. So realistic would say, if I need Starbucks once a week, well, maybe I need to incorporate, I can't put $100 into this account. Maybe I can only put, 80 because I've got to get Starbucks once a week. Well, you still have a good goal. But the next part, the T, which is time, you may have to push your time back because you can't get to where you want in the amount of time that is necessary. So this is very important. This SMART thing is very important when you're setting your goals, because the more specific you are, the better you can track your success and you can build a plan to achieve it. So what I really want you to focus on is the fact that you have to set goals that follow this criteria, right? Or your goals are going to be so vague that you may hit them, you may not, but ultimately, that feeling of success is not going to be as prominent because you didn't actually seek and accomplish verbatim exactly what it was you wanted. Okay, so SMART goals. Important. So once again, I'm running through this. I'm going to keep repeating it until it's just pounded in your head, because like I said, this is week 1 financial literacy month. This is the financial mirror stream, week 1 financial literacy month. If I can get this part, the most important part, nailed down with you, I'm telling you, the rest of your financial journey will be so much easier, because everything that you do is going to be towards these goals. I cannot express that enough. I can't express it enough. So step 1 was to get out your note-taking method, your preferred method for note-taking, whatever that is, pen, paper, phone, Google Notes, whatever. Second, and be prepared. Second is start developing SMART goals, right? So start developing the goals that you want, and they meet that SMART criteria. And then the next piece of the attack is understanding and setting these things up into short, medium, and long-term layout, right? So short term is something that you want to accomplish in the next 3 to 9 months ish. I mean, you could say 3 to 12 months, whatever. Short term could even be in the next month, but pretty much anything less than a year could be considered short term. For me personally, my short term is anything less than 3 months. I'm just gonna demonstrate how why I do less than 3 months. But but short term is anything in the next 3 months. So some examples: pay off debt, and debt could obviously be a medium term goal depending on how much you have. But if debt was your medium term goal, your short term goal may be cut unnecessary expenses like Starbucks to go towards your debt. Okay, so you see how these sort of play onto each other, right? So your short term is going to play into your medium term. It's going to play into your long term. So another short term may be like build an emergency fund or something. Like maybe you need to build that initial $1,000 emergency fund. That would be a short term goal. You should be able to do that within 3 months, right? Build a $1,000 emergency fund. You should be, if you don't have a $1,000 emergency fund, you should really be working on that piece right now. So I'm going to get into that in just a second. But medium term goals, I like to say 9 to 15 months. So this will be stuff like save for a rental property down payment. This could be to save to buy a car. This could be to invest, $1,000 into a mutual fund. This could be to save to pay for continuing education. Maybe you want to finish out your bachelor's degree. And obviously, I don't encourage student loans. Personally, I don't encourage student loans. I encourage saving to pay for continuing education, whatever that may be. Or getting scholarships, right? So maybe a medium-term goal is I'm going to apply for 2 scholarships a month for the next 9 months or whatever. That puts you at 18 scholarship applications. I would tell you to do more, but maybe 2 a week for the next 9 months. There you go. So ultimately, medium term would just be, saving for like continuing education, like whatever it is, something you want to accomplish the next 9 to 15 months, knocking that out and doing that, whatever that is. Long term, accomplish next few years or longer, right? So buying a house, saving for retirement, saving for your kids' college, things like that. That's sort of that. So step 1. Get out your preferred note-taking method, whatever that is. Step 2, create your SMART goals. And these need to be following that SMART platform: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, reasonable, and then time. Put a time on how long it's going to take you to do that. And break these out into things that you want to accomplish: short-term, medium-term, and long-term. Now, sticking to this short and medium and long term, I'm gonna get a little bit more in depth in a little bit, so just bear with me if you're like, whoa, I need to do this, but I need to do this. So we're gonna get that in just a second, so hold on. So let's ease through this. Okay, so next is goal prioritization. All right, so we have to prioritize which goals we're trying to accomplish. So we've written down all of our goals. So in that step to write down goals, I really don't even want you to focus on which ones you want to do first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I just want you to focus on writing down all the financial goals that you have, everything you need to do to reach your financial destination, and write those down. Nothing's too far-fetched. Okay, to be a millionaire is a financial goal. Write it down. It's a long-term financial goal, but write it down. Nothing is too small. Write it down. Nothing's too big. Write it down. All right. So now let's prioritize. So first, you have to prioritize those goals. So what's the most important goal you have? For me, my most important goal is currently to buy more rental properties. So that's my current goal. So everything that I'm saving for is to buy more rental properties. So knowing that, I've got to, that's a more medium term goal for me. So what I have to do is I have to come up with short term goals to build up to to get to my medium term goal. Okay. So for example, you've got to put aside money for retirement. That's more important than buying a new car, right? So retirement's more important than the new Tesla, right? So you've got to prioritize these goals. Let's see, paying off debt is much more important than saving for your kids' college. You shouldn't be saving for your kids' college if you're in over your head in debt. It just doesn't make sense. Don't do it. So goal prioritization is a big thing. So if you've written down your goals, you've established these as being long-term or short-term goals. You've said, this is my number 1 goal. This is my number 2 goal. This is my number 3 goal. you're light years ahead of most people. Okay. So, I mean, this is great. We are off to a great start. Okay. But if you're at this point and one of your goals is that is not really, if one of your goals is not that you have a fully funded emergency fund, write that down right now. Like 2 seconds ago, it should already be written down. 18% of Americans say they could survive 6 months of no income. It's 18% of Americans. So there's 82% of Americans out there that could not survive 6 months of no income. Now, this became extremely evident during COVID when people started losing their jobs. It turned into panic, right? Because they did not have enough money set aside to survive. Now, you're gonna throw rocks at me because you're like, well, dude, we've been in the pandemic for over a year. Yeah, it's more than 6 months, right? So if you are more cautious, right? If you don't have as much income, if you don't have as much, additional forms of income, if you have one job, and that's you probably need more than 6 months, right? So that's when I say, I'm not telling you how much to have, but what I'm telling you is have a fully funded emergency fund. How much money do you need to have enough money set to the side if another pandemic happened, right? So think about those things. That goes into your goal prioritization. So if having that fully funded emergency fund is more important than buying a car, you should be putting money into an emergency fund before you start saving to buy a car. Okay, that's all I'm saying with that. So we prioritize these goals. So we've wrote the goals down, right? Number one thing, write the goals down. We've made them, they're SMART goals. We've identified them as long or short term, and now we've prioritized them. Like, this is number one, this is number two, this is number three. So now, how do we achieve these goals, right? So we're at the last step of this whole thing. Let me wrap it all up for you. How do we achieve it? Well, first off, I just want to throw this out there. If your goal is to pay off debt, picking up side hustles will absolutely make you more money, and you will achieve your goals faster. I don't care if it's driving for Uber and Lyft. I've driven for Uber and Lyft. Great side hustle. They've gotten better since I drove for them, and great benefits. They've added benefits, not like health. I think they do like a health package that you can get cheaper, but it's not like a benefit that you would normally get at a W-2 employee or whatever. But they're adding tons of discounts that you get. They're continuing to grow Uber and Lyft. I'm not a spokesperson for Uber and Lyft, but I've done it before. I've driven rideshare before, so it's a great side hustle. Maybe your side hustle is you want to deliver people's groceries. Maybe your side hustle is you want to deliver food with like Uber Eats or any other food delivery service. Maybe that's your thing, right? I don't know. Deliver pizzas. I really don't care, but if you pick up a side hustle, yes, you will lose your free time, but you will achieve your goals faster. So if you don't have enough money to do what you want to do, I encourage you, pick up a side hustle. Instead of complaining about you not being able to do what you want to do, pick up a side hustle. You'll get to where you want faster, I promise. And then the biggest thing that I want to address before we get into an actual strategy is we prioritize for a reason. You cannot achieve all of your goals at once. Don't try. Everything cannot be done at once. Like, it can't be. It's a journey. Pick a goal, start working towards it. When that one's achieved, start working toward the next one. If you want to build them like in a format, like a continuation format, where your short term is going to lead into your medium term, is going to lead into your long term, and now you're going to start back at another short term, medium term. I really don't care how you do it. They're your goals, right? So you prioritize what's important. You do it the way you want to do it, but ultimately you're always working towards something, and that's the biggest thing. So simple strategy, if you want to do like a continuation goal type thing, is let's say your short term is you want to get control of your debt, so you want to pay off your debt. Short term, maybe in the next 9 months, I pay off all my debt, right? After that, in a more medium term, the 9 to 15 months or whatever, you're going to start saving for a down payment, and all the money you were using to pay off your debt, you're now going to put into a mutual fund, a brokerage account, into a mutual fund or something like that. And you're going to do that for the next 6 to 12 months. You're going to watch it grow. And then all of a sudden, that's going to lead you to what your long-term goal was to buy a house, right? So all the money that you build up into that brokerage account, you're going to use that to buy a house. This is a simple strategy that just goes from short-term, you're going to short-term focus on paying debt. Now that you've done that, you're going to use that, and your new short-term goal is to just save for the medium-term goal is to save for a down payment on a house. But how are you going to do that? You're going to start using the money that you were using to pay off your debt into a mutual fund in a brokerage account. That's going to grow, and that's going to help you achieve your long-term, which is as a down payment on a house. So you didn't just wake up and say, "Oh, I'm buying a house today." No, you stepped all the way through your short, medium-term goals, and you ended up with a house, right? Like that's how that works. So there may be multiple short and medium-term goals needed to get to where you want. Everybody's situation is different, but as long as you're developing all those steps and you're going through them, you will achieve your goals. I'm telling you, you'll achieve your goals. You're building a plan, and it's going toward achieving your goals, right? So hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully you were able to see that how this can just make you much more aware of where you're trying to get, much more sort of at ease with your mind, right? Of actually being able to achieve what you want to achieve and building out a plan to get there. So I'm going to wrap this up by saying this, and this is, I love saying this. I love going to this. It's one of my favorite lines, but if you're not writing down your goals, you do not really have goals. Like, you really don't. You don't have goals. If they're not written down, they're not really goals. What you actually have is wishes, you have dreams, and you have hopes. Like, that's what you have. You don't have a goal. You really don't have a goal. If they're not written down, you are wishing you were out of debt. You are dreaming of life not paycheck to paycheck, and you're really hoping you can one day buy a house. Like, that's what you have, versus creating these financial plans, right? Building out an actual financial plan that is built around financial goals, right? You're setting those goals, that the plan is helping to achieve those goals. And you're actually giving a chance for your goals to happen because you're diligently working at them every single day. When you drive by Starbucks, you're riding by it, you're glancing at it, you see it's there, you see that it's still open, and you're headed to work, right? Holding your fresh homemade cup of coffee because you know what your goal is. You know your goal is to get yourself out of debt, and Starbucks is not going to help you get out of debt. But you've got to have that goal. You cannot say, "I wish I was out of debt," and go to Starbucks every other day. Like, you're banking on a wish. You're banking on some miracle to happen, like win the lottery, that pays off your debt. You're not making that your goal, building out a plan to achieve that goal and doing it, right? So I'm telling you, if you're not writing down your goals, you don't have goals. You have wishes, dreams, and hopes. Like, that's my saying, and I stick to it. But if you'll write down the goal, create the plan that's going to help you achieve that goal, you will achieve that goal. It's that easy, right? So if you spend your days constantly complaining about your current situation, you're just wasting days to actually change that situation. So let this financial literacy month be different. Let this financial literacy month be the month that you change the path that you're currently on, right? And you start to build and work toward where you want to be. So continue to tune in to the Financial Mirror, to the stream, you can catch the podcast after the stream every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, this is released as a podcast, easy on the go listening. I'm trying to do better at talking through the images that sometimes I throw up on screen. So it's very important that you tune in. So tune in every Sunday. especially this month. These are going to build on each other, and for this financial literacy month, and I'm telling you, you will end up with everything you need to know to jumpstart that journey to get you to where you want to be financially. Okay, so join me again next Sunday. If you miss it Sunday, a-okay. Catch it on the podcast. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find the Financial Mirror. If the Financial Mirror is not where you listen to podcasts and it hasn't made it there yet, please go to thefinancialmirror.org /contact and let me know. Let me know where you listen to podcasts. You're not able to get it. I'll get it there. I'm telling you, I will. So join me again next week. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a great month. It's going to be a great month. It's going to lead. We're going to lead through this journey. We're going to get through the journey together. And I'm going to show you in the next 4 weeks. I'm going to show you how you can get to where you want to be financially. I'm going to help you build that out, and we're going to do it 1 week at a time. Okay. So until next week, go ahead, get your goals started. You're going to need this next week. You're going to need this to build on to next week. So get those goals started, get them all written out, get your plans in place, and we'll see you next week. Peace.